a sales coach, a marketing coach, a Kaizen coach like myself, financial, like the guy is so open-minded and investing in knowledge and process, and then actually implementing the things that he learns. It's incredible. For those of you that are just going to do trial and error and try and get lucky, it doesn't work very well that way. It's going to take you forever. And, really for me, the big change, if I was to sum it up, the biggest change ever was learning about the concept of flow efficiency. And it's one of the principles of Kaizen, and it absolutely changed my world. So that's why I like to get my hands dirty, go in to visit clients one-on-one, solve the problems once and for all, and move on to the next problem. And, it's definitely the way to go.
And what I'm hearing in this is there's transitions between stages of business. And what can happen for a lot of business owners is they get stuck in a certain stage and then they can't move on to the next one. And it kind of sounds like that's where you were, 35 years stuck in the day-to-day. And then you're like, wait a minute, it's possible for me to transition to this next stage of business. And you were actually able to do it. And it sounds like, a lot of business owners out there, they're stuck at a stage and they might have been stuck there for 10
Right.
years. And, they might not know how to get out of it on their own.
Yeah. So part of it is, most people don't look at their profit and loss statements either. So if I had profits, what am I going to invest it in? Is it a Bobcat? Is it a consultant? Is it a machine? Is it some software? Is it a person? And guess what? You're gonna have to invest in people. Like, you're gonna have to take a risk, and that first person that you hire in the office is, stressful. It's like, this money is gonna leave the business. If you don't do it, you cannot grow. So at some point, part of the reason for profit is if you put some of it aside, you can use it to reinvest in your business. And it can be tangible things like a Bobcat or a building, or it can be a person. And so the best companies literally build the best teams. And, that would be, for example, somebody like a sales designer who's amazing with people, fantastic at design, and they're game changers in the closing rates. Marketing's great, but if you can't close a deal, what's the point of the exercise? And so, I think we under-recognize how important great people are. And so, we're fortunate. We've got some great people. We went through some not so great people for sure, and we held on to them too long. There are companies that I coach still that have people that still are there that shouldn't be there, and they're holding up the opportunities for other amazing employees to join that team. And it also doesn't send a message, it doesn't send a message like, hey, our leaders are looking after the tribe. And so that's painful, unfortunately. So the companies will, be held back by those people that are not contributing to the team.
Yeah. So it's not possible to move to the next stage of business with a bad team.
Well, you got to get rid of your baggage. Like, it's you got to get rid of your baggage. You cannot move forward extra baggage. It's just too hard. It's like going through the desert with not enough water and a ton of baggage, and you want to save everything.
Yeah, with people that are trying to take your water.
People are they're trying to take your water.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so you had this transition between stages. Took about 3 years, right? 2020 to 2023.
Well, so we had the people in place. We didn't have the processes.
Right.
So we actually had the people. We didn't have the processes. It wasn't until we got the process in place that things started to run really, really well. I mean, we were better run than most companies. But I mean, if you look at a business like a car, and every single cylinder has to run perfectly. So you have, let's say, an 8-cylinder engine, and, first 5 cylinders are working really well, but the 6th one's not. It's going to cause problems. And so you might have to stop the car because the car overheats, all that stuff. So unless all your cylinders are firing beautifully in sequence, you're going to have mistiming, and it's going to be a very ugly ride. So you've got to get every cylinder of your business dialed in for it to run well. So it's tough because, there are 1,200 accountabilities in every business. And so I've mapped it out. I've actually mapped out every single folder and file that's required to run a business. And there are 1,200 of them. So if you're, 2 or 3 people in management, that is an insane amount of stuff to manage. And some of it's time sensitive. So, building a great team. So people, the other thing that's interesting. So there's companies that, they work 3,000 hours a year. No word of a lie. They work 3,000 hours a year. And they say, well, look how much money I'm making. Well, look how much you're working. So that's great. Continue to do that. I have no issues with that. Is it sustainable? For most companies, it's not. And, life changes. You get older, you can get injured, you can have kids, a whole bunch of things change. And so, I've been watching a company just down the street doing landscaping, and they're working on Sundays, they're working on Saturdays. We used to do the same thing. If your business is going to be in business long enough, that it's impossible to scale a large business doing that. I've yet to see a large business that works 7 days a week. It just doesn't exist. So, you will get the entrepreneurs, the mavericks out there who do that, and they scramble, and and that's fine. There's a place for them. If you want to create a scalable business, that is not the model. You got to figure out how to do it Monday to Friday, the odd Saturday if there's an emergency, and get your 50 hours of production in every single week, super efficient. And then you will have low turnover, and you'll have predictable workflows, and things will run much better.
Yeah, otherwise it's a terrible retention strategy.
Yeah, so you won't have retention. You're going to have, people leaving. And so, I've been in business 40 years. So I've seen, my first kid be born to one of our staff.